Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about gender pronouns, and if you have no clue what a gender pronoun is, the University of Wisconsin has a little page set up to explain it to us. And that page I'm going to use to explain it to you. See, you're probably not the only one who doesn't understand gender pronouns. Apparently there are some frequently asked questions, and we're going to go through all of them. What if I make a mistake? How do I ask someone what pronouns they use? Why is it important to respect people's pronouns? What are some commonly used pronouns? What are preferred gender pronouns? And what is a pronoun? All very important questions, it seems. So the first question they're going to answer is, what if I make a mistake? And the first bit of their answer is, it's okay. Everyone slips from time to time, slips up or whatever. But then they're going to tell you that, well, you can say sorry. So you, not knowing that you should use a different pronoun to address me than he, him, or his, yeah, that's your fault. I didn't tell you, but you should have known. Now, it becomes quite simple when it's about he or she. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, I thought you were a woman. My bad. Done. Clear. But it gets a little bit more confusing when you have gender pronouns that are, well, a little bit unlikely. The second frequently asked question is actually not that weird. How do you ask someone what pronoun they use? In all fairness, if it's not he or she, then yeah, I understand that you're like, huh? So what pronouns do I use? But their response is quite simple. Basically ask them, what pronoun do you use? And can you remind me what pronouns you use? It's, again, making you responsible that you use the right pronoun on me. Because I want something special, therefore you must oblige. It's kind of funny. You can all read it, by the way. I mean, you just pause the video. The third question kind of shows its ignorance. Why is it important to respect people's pronouns? Now, why do I say it's ignorant? Okay, here's my explanation. I work in psychiatric healthcare, and the one thing that we do not do when we treat someone with, let's say, a psychotic episode or schizophrenia, and they're in a schizophrenic episode, or they're just hallucinating, we do not go into the hallucination with them. We do not confirm that hallucination. Yet, according to the University of Wisconsin, going into the hallucination is a good thing. When someone is referred to with the wrong pronoun, it can make them feel disrespected. Yeah, no, sorry. Okay, so now that we know that we're going to validate someone's hallucination, and yes, I know it's not nice to say that it is, but sorry, it still is. Okay, we're going to use their pronouns. So what are some of the preferred pronouns? You know, this is kind of funny. I don't care what the commonly used are. If we're going to go into the stupidity of them, shouldn't then they decide what pronoun they're going to use? Which ones are preferred by them, not which ones are preferred commonly, because most commonly the pronouns are he and she, and apparently those aren't good enough, so we're going to make something up. What they do say, however, and I do kind of agree with it, never refer to someone as it. Because no matter how stupid they are still people. I agree with that completely. What are personal gender pronouns? Well, yeah, once you go into the stupidity and the hallucination of people, you might as well recognize and understand what that hallucination is. Yeah, enough said. And the last question is, what is a pronoun? Now, personally, I would have started with that question, but no, they started with why we should make a personal pronoun for people. Or actually, they didn't even explain to us why. Well, maybe a little bit. Anyway, here we go. So now they're going to give us a little help on how to use pronouns. And In the black, you see a bunch of questions that you could answer as a pronoun. And in the yellow, you see some of the preferred ones. There are, of course, many others. And I'm going to take a few jokes with me on this one. Let's say a person calls himself he or she. Well, then we already know how it goes. There is, of course, the ze and ze version. But I like the fae version better, because a fae is an elf. But apparently people can now call themselves fae. Fair enough. So, if we take fae as subject, then fae laughed at the notion of gender binary. They tried to convince fair that asexuality does not exist. Fair favorite color is unknown. The pronoun card is fairs. Faye thinks highly of herself. I'm sorry. I can't really. Yes, this is actually a thing. And we will come back to this black thingy because it's a great explanation in a moment. Okay, so we went through this load of hallucinatory incidents for a reason. What is that reason? Well, as I said, normally in psychiatry we used to say if someone is hallucinating, do not go with the hallucination. If you see spiders that aren't there, I'm not going to tell you that yes, these spiders look nice. This is true for just about anything. I'm not going to feed your hallucination. However, in their profound wisdom, the New York City Commission on Human Rights kind of didn't think that was a good idea. They made guidelines in protecting the strong cities, transgender and gender non-conforming communities in housing, employment and public spaces. Okay, that sounds funny, but what does that mean? Well, it means the following. Intentionally failing to use an individual's preferred name, pronoun or title, for example, repeatedly calling a transgender woman him or Mr. when she makes clear that she doesn't want to, or refusing to allow individuals to use single-sex facilities such as bathrooms or locker rooms or other non-issues like that, that might be a problem, or enforcing dress codes, uniforms and grooming standards based on sex and gender, which is basically sexual, discrimination, or failing to provide employee with health benefits that cover gender-affirming care. I'm not even sure if that's allowed, but I'm starting with the first one and I'm sticking with the first one. Intentionally failing to use an individual's preferred name, pronoun or title. That is the only thing I'm interested in, because what does it say? Violation of the New York City's human rights law could result in civil penalties of up to $125,000 for violations and up to $250,000 for violations that are a result of willful, wanton or malicious conduct. Now, wanton or malicious is kind of difficult, but willful is quite simple. If I tell you my preferred pronoun is jackass, and you refuse to use jackass, then that already is willful. All the other things, I don't care. So what does that mean? Well, according to this, if I don't use your gender pronoun because you want me to use your gender pronoun, I can be fined up to $250,000. Yeah, that's a problem. Because not only am I now forced to go into your hallucination with you, but me not wanting to go into your hallucination is actually a crime. Thank you, New York City. Now, there is this old saying, if you can't beat them, join them. And I certainly can't beat the New York City Council. I'm just a simple guy. So now I have to join them. I guess it is time for the rest of the world to know what my pronoun will be then. I mean, yeah, you can still say he, I don't care, and everything that's related to it. Hell, you can say whatever you want. If I don't like it, I'm just going to ignore you. But if I'm in New York, you will address me with the following pronouns. Master laughed at the notion of a gender binary. They tried to convince Master that asexuality does not exist. Master's favorite color is unknown. The pronoun card is Master's. Master thinks highly of Master's self. So yes, I guess these are my preferred pronouns. Feel free to compliment me on my great pronoun. Hell, feel free to use them yourself if you ever feel inclined. I won't copyright them or anything silly like that. And if people would talk to you about how it's racist to call yourself a master, then please remind them that A, master is your pronoun. It doesn't mean the same as what they think it means. B, you do not own any slave, therefore you can't be a slave master, because that's probably what they're referring to anyway. And C, fuck them. Well, maybe you shouldn't say C to them. I mean, people often get upset when you say fuck them to their face. Anyway, having said that, know this. In New York City, people have to use your preferred pronoun. Otherwise, they can get fined. Well, I'm going to call it an end here, and I hope you enjoyed this little video, and you can prove that by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And if you didn't like it, then, well, you could still like, share, and subscribe, but I can understand that you don't. By all means, though, all forms of criticism are welcome, so let me know what you think. And, yeah, have a good one. See you all next time.